in about 1 second, we should be live. And excellent. Hello, everybody. And a special hello to Joyce Uglow. Today, we're stuck on your wonderful book, Stuck.
Woohoo.
And we're going to stick it and unstick it and glue it and unglue it and have lots of fun. I'm here with a wonderful, wonderful persona in Kidlit, I wouldn't say business field. Somebody who blogs and helps others and is quite selfless in helping other people. And we're celebrating your debut picture book. It's an interesting picture book. A few words about it. So the official name is Stuck, the Story of the Brea Tar Pits. And it's published by Bushel Peck. And
yes.
I just had David Miles on the show a month or two ago, but we didn't connect through that. And he's had 6,000 views on Facebook alone.
Unbelievable. That's really great.
Popular guy. And you collect doorknobs. So we have a lot to talk about. Joyce, show us your gorgeous book. This is your debut picture book. It's so exciting.
Sure. Yeah. So Stuck, the story of La Brea Tar Pits. Originally, it had the word "the" in there, but otherwise it would be Stuck, the Tar Pits. So it is Stuck, the story of La Brea Tar Pits.
And it's a wonderful book. And, Bushel and Peck is not a huge publisher, but everything they do so well. It's so beautiful, so thought out. And this book is huge. It's 40 pages long, and it has tons of back matter. And it's delicious and scrumptious. And it's not for 5-year-olds.
No, but 5-year-olds get a lot out of it. In fact, at a book launch that I did at a local bookstore, a 3-year-old was in the audience and she was just glued to every word. Yeah.
I mean, there's skeletons and death and all kinds of nitty-gritties like that.
Yes, but Valerya Milovanova, the illustrator of Stuck, the story of La Brea Tar Pits.
The gorgeous illustrator.
Absolutely.
Show us a few for the people who can watch. Show us a few of the gorgeous spreads.
Okay. So
Joyce, I love this book.
Thank you. I'm going to turn to this spread here, where the two scientists who I am connected with at La Brea Tar Pits.
Joyce, I'm losing you.
Two men
Come back.
There.
Yeah. So start again with the two scientists.
Okay. So the two scientists, the paleontologist and paleobotanist, Dr. Emily Lindsay and Dr. Reagan Dunn, they were generous with their time and went through the illustrations, the first round of illustrations with me, done by Valerya Milovanova. Fabulous. And what I really love about what she did was she made things flow. And she also took her color palette and softened, because this could be a dark topic. You know, when you think about the darkness, just take a look to see what she did with the blues, the greens, and the browns. I love it. And a lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, that artwork.
And Joyce, this book is doing well.
Yes, very well. Yeah, we are entering into our second print run.
It's just out 2 weeks ago.
Yes, it was the official release. Yeah, the official release was March 4th. But it was available earlier, and all the pre-orders. I am just flabbergasted and humbled, and so cartwheels across the front yard happy. So it's going into a second print.
Wow, in 2 weeks, that's some kind of world record here. And as someone who recently published their debut picture book, I know how exciting it is. And especially we're up against such odds.
Yes.
You are 1 in 1,000. So how did it happen?
How did it happen? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I went.
You want to start at the beginning?
Sure.
I was born.
Yeah.
You
I was
must have
born
been
in a
born somewhere.
snowstorm in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Yeah.
A
Um,
moose farm?
no, a snowstorm. Actually, a blizzard. I was born in a blizzard, February
Ah,
10th.
okay.
Yeah, in Wisconsin. So, but how did this book start? Well, it started by me going first to LACMA, which is the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, with my son Jeremy, who is an artist in LA. And he and I went to LACMA, and then next door is La Brea Tar Pits. And so we went to both museums, and actually I stood in front of Smilodon, the exhibit, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to write about this animal. And at first I thought, oh yeah, Smilodon can go across the country and talk to all these animals. But I started researching and realizing that this book, this story, is much more than a made up fiction animal going across the country, because I realized that um, the research these paleontologists have done over the course of more than 100 years, closing on 150 years, of when the first bones started sticking up in the oil field. At first they thought, oh my gosh, this is cows or something, bones sticking up. Well, then they got researching. And so when I got researching, I realized this is a story. Yes, I tell a story of the animals that got stuck, but really it's about learning from the past to inform our future. It's really about finding solutions for sticky solutions. It is
And
obviously, yeah,
the
more than
story,
Smilodon.
even though it's fiction, there's a story here, and it's very lyrical. Would you like to read a few lines from it?
Sure. It is actually nonfiction, because nothing is made up. Um, no animals speak. Yeah, I love this one also. So, Stuck, the story of La Brea tar pits. Thousands of years ago, unsuspecting Ice Age animals were drawn to shallow water, only to find oozing, oily stickiness. Harlan's ground sloth lumbered, meandering, making a meal of wheatgrass and willow, wanting a cool drink. She slowed, struggled, unable to move on, stuck. Smilodon bared a sharp saber smile, then sniffed, stalked, pounced on sloth. Stuck, trapped. No need to pin down prey already captured. Dire wolves followed the scents and groans. They entered the fray of predator prey, but instead of a meal, a sticky feel. Stuck, trapped, sunk.
Excellent.
Dire, dire
I,
wolves hunted
I,
in packs.
Joyce, this is beautiful, and I'm now
Thank
going to
you.
pick a bone, metaphorically speaking, with all the
Okay.
people who think that nonfiction cannot tell a story. I mean, you
Oh,
were not there 10,000 years ago watching this animal come close and wade in and was thirsty and so on and so forth. And it is true to the scientific viewpoints and so on, but it's still a story, and
mhm.
don't tell anybody, but it's still nonfiction. And
Right.
nonfiction can tell a story because I'm a scientist and I spent my whole career telling stories. But we're not going to go there too much. We've already gone there.
Let me
I
let
love
me
your I
add just
love your book because it is nonfiction and it does tell a story.
so let me add just a tiny little bit. So as an educator, I was a classroom teacher, a teacher for students who struggled both emotionally and with learning. I served as a principal. And so I did a lot of research. I did classroom action research with my second, third, and fifth graders. Um, and I know that picture books are very needed in our world. for many reasons, but one is the emotional connection that kids get that they don't get from conversation. There are studies on this that say the emotional words in picture books give kids the vocabulary to deal with their own emotional things. And they can't, or they don't typically get that from conversation.
I'm 100% in agreement with you. I think that the moment that you have emotion in the book, then it's less expository, and that is perfectly fine with me. So I prefer your style, of looking back in
Thank you.
time, and there's this hungry Smilodon, and there's these hungry wolves, and there's hungry. Well, we weren't there, but that's the scientific story, and it's true to the scientific discoveries at the La Brea tar pit.
Yes.
And
And the
that makes
story
it doubly exciting for a scientist turned author like me. So I congratulate you on both counts.
Thank you.
And there's tons of tons. There's like, wow, there's a whole tar pit of back matter.
Eons.
How long did it take you? How long did it take, like from the first time you visited with your son till now? When was that initial visit?
Okay, so we first started visiting there in 2018. I started writing immediately. My amazing critique groups, the legendary DAIR for Wisconsin, legendary writers, and the Writers Without Borders, and Courage to Create critique partners. They looked at this manuscript many times. So I vacillated between, should this be fiction? Should this be nonfiction? And they really said, no, use your poetic style, your lyricism, but write it as nonfiction. So that started in 2018, of course, went across time, just like the tar pits. And in 2023,
No, but
January.
it's risen, you see. It's not like the tar pits, because in the tar pits, the manuscript will get stuck forever in the slush pile, and you have risen, like the phoenix.
Yeah.
We want to know how that happened. So let's segue back. Did you love writing as a kid?
Yes.
Were you emotionally charged as a 5-year-old? Tell us it's something that led to your writing career.
Okay. So first of all, I'm old. And my fourth grade
You
teacher.
are not old.
Yeah,
You're old.
I'm 70. No. Yeah.
You're a youngster. I'm
Yeah.
73. So what does that
I
make
was in
me?
fourth grade, Mrs. Jaskey, probably it was her prep time. She put on a radio show called Let's Write. And once a week, we would, I'm not sure what she was doing, but because my head was down, I was writing. As a kid, I had horses, and we showed horses. And so I wrote a lot about my ponies and all kinds of things. And Mrs. Jaskey in fourth grade is the one who got that started. But then, think about how time marches on. I went away to school. Yep, I was going to be a nurse. I thought, no, I don't really like blood that much. So I went into education and got a double major in elementary education and special education. So I had many students who needed something different to learn to read. And I used writing to teach them to read. And then whenever writer's workshop happened, my pen was going too. Yeah, they wrote, I wrote. And then classroom action research with mentor text, picture book mentor text was a huge part of my.
But Joyce,
teaching.
when did it occur to you, hey, I should be writing books for children?
It actually has always been sort of in the back of my mind, but oh my gosh, can I do that? Do I have time? I taught classes for the University of Wisconsin, Whitewater. I was a principal. I had 3 boys who played soccer. We were busy. And then I became the chair of the Young Authors Festival for the Wisconsin State Reading Association. And I met people like Ralph Fletcher and Janet Wong and Georgia Hurd and Candy Fleming and Eric, the list just goes on. And so I had all these stories sitting there waiting for me. And when I left my role as the president of the Wisconsin State Reading Association, somebody said, "Hey, Joyce, what are you going to do now?" And I said, "I'm going to write a book." And so I thought, well, I better do that now. I said it out loud. So here we are.
And
In
you've
2000,
been writing poetry as well.
yes, and that I give credit to Georgia Hurd and Ralph Fletcher and Janet Wong and Sandy Brea. Um, oh my gosh, Patricia Franz. I could go on and on and on.
This show is about the picture books, but I love poetry, so please send me some of your
I
poetry
will. Yeah.
after the interview. Joyce, I got so excited I forgot to introduce myself. We
Oh,
are 17 minutes, and I forgot to say that I'm Mel Rosenberg, and I am the host of the Children's Literature Network, of the Children's Literature Channel of the New Books Network. You would think that after 170 interviews I would get this right, but I never do. Joyce Uglow. What kind of a name is Uglow?
well, it is
Couldn't you be
English,
Joyce Smith or Joyce Jones or something?
right? You're right. So back when I first married Larry, one of my students said, "I can't call you that. I can't call you Mrs. Ugly." And I said, "Well, you don't have to because it's Uglow." Uh, but it is an English name. But you can see I'm wearing some green today because very Irish family. Both the Cooper and the Hall families, Irish, very Irish.
And I love Ireland. Ireland doesn't love me, but I love them. Joyce, this is all wonderful. And how did you? So now comes the nitty-gritty part of getting published, because Bushel and Peck, I've submitted about 8 manuscripts to them. Babkas, it's very hard to get published by them. They're very picky, and they picked you, which I'm delighted that they did. But tell
Yeah.
us exactly how that happened.
Okay. So in January of 2023, the Children's Book Insider interviewed Ryan Van Cleve, editor of Stuck. And there was a submission opportunity there. And I submitted. And I had only other submitted Stuck to one other publisher at that time. Several agents, but only one other publisher. And so in July of 2023, I got an email from Ryan saying, "This book rocks. We would like to publish this book." And I'm like, oh, so excited. So here we are in March of 2025. That's really not a very long time.
No, the turnaround is fantastic.
Yes.
And how many years since you joined SCBWI? You're now very active in Wisconsin, and critique groups. And how long has it been since you took this really seriously?
Well, I would say seriously 9 years. Yeah.
That's about how long it takes.
Yeah. Um, I love SCBWI. I think you do also. I'm the assistant regional advisor for Wisconsin right
And
now.
I'm the same for Israel.
Yes. I love it so much, but I also love some organizations that really delivered for me, and that is Julie Hedlund's 12 by 12 picture book challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I joined that right away. I went to my first SCBWI in-person event in Los Angeles. Hope someday we have another one in LA. But I also joined the Writing Barn, Bethany Hegedus, I always say her name wrong, Hegedus, Writing Barn, encouraged to create, and participated in The Verge for a year, also through the Writing Barn. I'm a member of Inked Voices, Much Ado About Writing. My list is long
And
because
you have your own blog, and you help other people.
I do. Yeah. So in January this year, a writing colleague and I, Kathy Groth, we started what are calling You Grow News. So take U from Uglow and GRO from Growth, You Grow News. And what we do is we interview authors and illustrators with the goal of elevating, because that is what we all need to do for each other, do reviews, promote, help each other, because it is a really hard industry to break into, as you know.
Yes, and I feel totally blessed, and I'm sure you do as well. But incredibly, you're not agented. Is this because you haven't tried enough? Um,
Probably. I have submitted to many agents, but um, I get discouraged, and I hate to say that, because the crickets, the silence, I get it. Their inboxes are packed full and everybody is submitting beautiful things. So no, I don't have an agent yet. I would love to have an agent, because I don't know contracts and they do.
so all the agents who are listening to the show, Joyce Uglow has just written this remarkable book with Bushel and Peck, and she deserves to be agented. And let's make that happen. But I've got to tell you, Joyce, that rejections are part and parcel. I had about 300 rejections before I had one yes, and the yes came from a very unexpected place. So you just have to do it.
Yep,
And
I do.
now you have this gorgeous book. It's really gorgeous. It's unique in that it's a picture book, but it also tells a story that's good for grades 2 and 3 and maybe 4, and it's full of learning material, but it's also full of philosophy of what
Yes.
came before and where we're going. And I love all these things, and you have to ride on this and find yourself an agent and a publishing niche that you deserve.
Thank you. Yes, I have my own Substack newsletter as well. And right now, actually, Cindy Mackey, who is the author of an upcoming book called If a Bumblebee Lands on Your Toe, a social emotional, beautiful book, releases May 6th. But she and I are doing a poetry and illustration challenge that we're calling Stuck Bumblebee Poetry Illustration Challenge. So every day, starting March 14th, through into the poetry month of April, we are submitting one-word prompts from our books. So say, for example, on March 15th, my word from Stuck, the story of Brea tar pits, was unsuspecting. And then today's is jumbled. We've taken words, and so people are responding beautifully. But you said I should write about the message behind the book.
No, I
Is that
didn't
what
say that you should. No, I'm
Oh,
saying that
okay.
it's one of the powerful things about your book is that it's on very many levels, including the philosophy of continuation of life.
Yes.
And that is a difficult subject, and you've broached it very wonderfully in this book. So what's on? You're helping others. You have the challenge. You have your blog, and you're welcome to send me, new picture books coming out that you think are worthy of interviews, and I'll be delighted. And now that you're published, what are your plans?
I'm going to keep writing. I'm going to keep supporting other people. I'm going to keep volunteering for SCBWI. I'm going to keep going on vacations, because that is where I get inspiration a lot. So say, for example, we spent some time at the Petrified National Park. And so I have a book called Petrified. It's poetic, it's nonfiction. we went to Hawaii, and I absolutely fell in love with humpback whales. And so I have a book that I am really close to submitting about whale school. I'm just going to keep writing. Now I'm going to keep doing poetry and finding.
Whale school. Who's the principal
Oh, just the child and the mom. The mom is the teacher
of whale school?
of whale school, and it is a nonfiction book. They're not speaking.
What's with this nonfiction?
I
Joyce,
love
it's
it.
okay. It's okay to write fiction.
My fiction, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So this is also nonfiction, but nonfiction with a lyrical bent and a story.
Yes. Yes. I have many like that. Chickens, bees, trees.
Okay, I think that this is perfect. I mean, I since I started getting involved seriously in this, I don't know what to call kidlit is. It's not really an industry; it's a kind of a calling. I don't know what it is. For me, it's like a religion almost. Um, I don't like all of these dichotomies. You know, either nonfiction or fiction. There should be a lot in the middle. Um, and I think it's okay to write nonfiction and to tell a story, even if something that happened 60,000 years ago or whatever. And we weren't there, and the illustrator draws whatever she thinks in her palette. And it certainly wasn't like that, but I think that that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we don't have to stand before God and say, you know, everything in my story is true. I mean, most of what scientists tell you is not true, and I'm a scientist. So there's
Can I tell
kind
you
of
a scientific fact?
yes, please.
Okay. So humans lived with the megafauna, the large animals, in the Ice Age in the La Brea tar pits area. So the basin. Okay, they lived together for 2,000 years. And then for 300 years, human caused fires. So think about the drying period, it's Ice Age, the warming period, and then humans and their human caused fires. There is evidence in the fossils from La Brea that those three things together caused the largest extinction event since the dinosaurs went extinct. Because of the charcoal in the bones, in the trees, in the leaves, in the seeds at La Brea.
Yes. So it's about learning from the past, going forward into the future.
Right. We need to pay attention to what we're doing. We need to use metal straws. We need to not have plastic bottles. We need to think about what we're doing. Otherwise, maybe there will be a demise for us. And I hate to say it that way.
Well, let's hope not.
Right.
Because I want you to get on with your remarkable career.
Thank you.
So what you are a success. You have a beautiful picture book, came out a few weeks ago, second printing, a wonderful publisher. What advice do you have to share with the people who aren't there yet?
I've heard this from many, many people. Two things. Don't hurry. It takes the time it takes. And the other thing is read, 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 in your genre and outside of it. So your category of picture book, read middle grade, read young adult, read board books, chapter books, but spend a lot of time in your own category so that you get it. I mean, you see a book back here that says Teaching Science Through Picture Books. It's not a new book. That's old. Teach kids to think. That's and ask questions, wonder, notice. Super important.
Absolutely. And go on vacations to get
And go on vacation.
inspired.
Yeah. Yeah.
And visit as many tar pits as you can.
And there are many, but La Brea is the only active urban tar pit in the world that has as many fossils as La Brea does. And they are noted worldwide.
Is your book selling there at the museum?
I actually am going to be doing a presentation at Girls in STEM Day at La Brea on March 22nd. And yes, their museum gift shop will be stocked.
Joyce, you're more marvelous than I thought. And I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I can actually feel your happiness in my bones.
Cool. In your bones, not
Yeah,
fossil.
no, not yet.
Not yet.
I have to find a pit. So, is there anything I haven't asked you? Anything that you want to say that because you're also on a you've been an educator and a principal, and you're coming at this from an educational way.
Yeah. You didn't ask me about libraries, and libraries are very, very, very important. We need to support our library system in the United States, everywhere. How we can do that is we reach out, we ask for libraries to stock new books that are coming out. For example, Becky, I'm gonna pause to make sure that I say her name correctly. Oh gosh, SCH, Scharnhorst, has a new book called Best Buds coming out. I see that book as one that's going to win a lot of awards. I would love for you to interview Becky. I'll send you her information. She just writes beautifully. So when you find something beautiful, tell people about it. Ask your libraries to stock it. Talk to independent bookstores about that. Post reviews. Share your love for the books.
Yes, and if you champion others,
Yes,
eventually you'll be a champion yourself.
absolutely. My little word for the year is elevate. Every year I come up with a word and then I focus on that for the year. And so elevate is what I'm really working on this year. What can I elevate for you, Mel?
No, I mean it's uplifting interviewing you and reading your book and seeing how successful it is. And the way you can elevate me is by finding an agent
Okay,
and publishing 5 or 6 books in the next year or two. That would make me very happy. Then I can have you back on the show.
that would be fabulous.
So, and this is also good advice because most of us say read a lot of books in your genre, and you're saying no, read also outside your genre, and of course that's also very good. What I call thinking between the boxes. And Joyce, this has been wonderful.
Thank you.
Joyce Uglow celebrating a wonderful brand new smash hit picture book called Stuck, the story of the La Brea tar pits, illustrated by Valerya Milovanova, published by Bushel and Peck, Ryan and David. Yay, yay, yay. And we didn't talk about collecting doorknobs. We'll talk about that next time.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. And what we're going to do now is we're going to say goodbye to everybody else and go out and come back into the same link so we can share a few thoughts, just the two of us.
Very
So
good.
I'm Mel Rosenberg. I'm the host of the Children's Literature Channel of the New Books Network. And I've been with the wonderful Joyce Uglow, sharing her excitement over her wonderful and already successful brand new book. Bye, everybody. See you soon.